Okay, here we go for the third time. And our guest, Neelam Dhall, accredited family mediator, CPA, CA, and President CEO of Simple Solutions Mediation, will be on the line with us in just a moment. Again, Mind Body Bank Account, Episode 7, Take 3, where we are providing you with the tools that you need so that you can live the life that you desire. Natasha, I said hello to you on a previous call. Randy, I see you on there again. Guys, when we get a video that's actually working, share it. Bring some people on. Sharing is caring. That's the motto of the month anyway. And our guest will be coming on the line in just a moment. The request has been sent. I believe that Neelam has an internet connection on her end that is not cooperating with us. So, in the event that she's unable to come on, we're going to reschedule for another time. We're going to get Miss Dhall back on the line with us so that she can share the wonderful information that was going to come out tonight, but looks like it may be another time. And that's okay. That's okay. What you need to know is that this is the place you come when you want to fill this with good stuff, fill this with good stuff, and you can't see my pocket, but when you want to keep money in there, this is what we're talking about as well on Mind, Body, and Bank Account. All right? Divorce mediation. We're talking about keeping clarity in your mind, money in your pocket, and happiness in your life, right? If you're going through divorce, it can be a time where things aren't really that happy, but you can still have clarity. We can still have focus, and we can still do the right thing even in an extremely highly emotional event like divorce. So what you really want to know as well, and I'm sure when we do have Neelam back on the show, she'll attest that you try not to be too selfish. It's a selfish thing, but there are many other people that can be affected by divorce. And being a father, I'm thinking about children. So you want, personally, I would want to be the best father that I could to my children, regardless of the marital situation. So try to be good to your kids. You know, it's going to be tough. And the more you hurt your former spouse, you got to remember, they're still your kid's parent. So if I want to try to hurt my ex-wife, which I don't have, but if I wanted to hurt my ex-wife, ultimately I'm hurting my children because I'm taking away from her being able to be the best mother that she can be, right? And if we're trying to stick it to our partner for the money, who ultimately does that affect? I mean, I don't know about you, but the only reason that I go out every day and earn money and try to better myself is to better my family. So if my former spouse is trying to, take that money out of my pocket, I'm not going out to buy a Lamborghini. I want to put clothes on my kids' back and put food in their bellies. So Neelam, I see that you are watching now. Let's get you on here. Are you able to join the conversation? I have added you, and I'm just waiting to have you on the line. And Neelam, if you can hear me, I've been letting the folks know that are watching that if I'm unable to get you on, we are going to reschedule this talk because I can't leave people hanging. And personally, I don't want to be left hanging. You have a whole bunch of good stuff that really needs to be shared with the folks out there. So it looks like Miss Dhall is not going to be able to get on the conversation tonight, unfortunately. However, Neelam, share on the comments all your contact information, please, because between now and the time that I get you back on, there's going to be people out there who are going to go through it. And let's have them contact you. So share your information. Throw your website down. Any contact info that people can use to get a hold of you, by all means, please do so. And while we are essentially going to wrap this call up, Dwayne, thanks for coming on. Dwayne, I had Neelam Dhall, accredited family mediator, CPA, CA, and CEO and president of Simple Solutions Mediation on the line. But unfortunately, our connection dropped and Neelam is unable to join us. But she's going to share her info at the bottom, and we're going to reschedule this call. Dwayne, it's good to have you on. We've had people from as far as China on the call tonight. So as much as I wish that it would have continued, the reach is getting greater. We're impacting more lives, and hopefully people are growing in their mind, growing in their body in a good way, and their bank account growing as well. So before I wrap this up, like I always say, sharing is caring. And even though we didn't get all the information out tonight, share it anyway. Because there's other folks out there who are doing Facebook Lives. It's the thing now. So people are going to learn from this regardless. And if one thing that they learn is to really ensure that all the tech is up to speed, maybe that's the message that we're sharing here. Although I do want to put out there, Neelam and myself, we did a tech check a half hour before the call, and we had everything bang on. Wow, here we go. Dhall is asking to come on the line again, and we're going to add her. And hopefully this time, everything works out and it comes through. Wow, Neelam, we're on again.
Hello?
Hey.
No way.
We're on.
Am I there?
Here. We're here. Somehow
Awesome.
I held it together. We're on take 3 now, but here you are. So that's awesome. Neelam, do you realize we had people from? I think I've seen. Are you glitching out again? I saw people from all across Canada. Hey, Neelam.
Hello. Oh,
awesome,
here we
awesome.
are. Okay.
And you know what? The picture's good. The sound's good. I don't see glitching, so hopefully we're going to be okay here. I was just sharing with you that
that is live Facebooking for you,
That's
right?
it, baby. Unscripted, and this is real life. So, I was just sharing with you and some of the viewers that I believe we've had people from all across Canada. I believe I've seen someone from the States join in, and I know that we've had China watching as well. So,
that's
and what you do is not limited to North America. This is an issue that happens globally. So,
Absolutely. Actually, just to touch on that, I also, it's not ideal, but when the people can't be in the same room with you, you can do it. When you don't have glitches like this, you can do it over the internet. You can do, like a Zoom call or what have you, or Skype, and we can mediate that way. And actually, in the rare or the situation where it's so heated and two people just don't want to be in the same room together, that may be an option. The other thing that we do when in that situation where two people just can't be together is we call it shuttle mediation, where mom's in one room, dad's in the other room, or if it's a same-sex couple, one partner in one room, one partner in the other, and we mediate that way, and that way it keeps the emotions at bay, and we can still get through the discussion, and it actually can be really effective that way.
Now, I'm not 100% sure where we left when we dropped the call, but I think we were talking about emotion and maybe having blinders on and not maybe empathizing with some of the other people that get affected by divorce. And I always speak on children because I'm a dad, and that's kind of at the top of my priority list. Tell me, do children sometimes get, for lack of better words, pushed aside, and do people get a little selfish when it comes to divorce, and how do you handle that?
So I wouldn't necessarily say people become selfish. I think people get so bogged down in the emotion, and it's just such an overwhelming process that, sometimes it's hard to keep your focus on the children, but at the end of the day, everybody loves their children. Everybody wants what's best for their children. Sometimes they just need a little bit of help from somebody that's a third party who's not in the emotion, to be able to help them stand back and let's think through this picture holistically. What is best for the children? And sometimes when that, when you're working with the right person and they can get through to you, that's
Right.
what matters. Like, I'll just give you an example. I had a family where, mom was, and it's all confidential, I wouldn't ever mention names, but just to give you an example, mom was fixated on Christmas, understandably. And she thought, well, there's no way I'm not going to be with my kids on Christmas. So dad, too bad, so sad, you're
Right.
not going to see them. So in that mediation, I say to her, like, listen, here's sort of how the law works, and that's not how it works. Secondly, dad loves them just as much as you do, right? Like, it's really hard for you, and I get that. I understand what it's like to be without my children on Christmas. It's
Right.
very difficult. But let's remember, what is it that the children will want? Will they want to be split up from both of you on Christmas? One your dad, one your mom? No way. They would
Right.
want to see
Right.
both of you. So let's come up with a solution that's best for everybody, especially the children, but also that can make mom and dad happy. And in that situation, that's when they went, okay, hold on a second. Dad's family celebrates in the evening. Mom's family celebrates Christmas morning. Why can't the children do both? And it was like light bulb moment for them. Okay, fine, great, perfect. Let's pick a time. And now everybody's
Right.
happy.
Right.
But sometimes it takes the person who's objective to be able to see the big picture and ask the right questions, draw the right information out of them to be able to help them actually figure out the solution
Right.
that works for them. But if you go to court, that's not what happens, right? One partner's lawyer or that person will speak up, the other person will speak up, the judge will hear the two of you, and they'll just come
Right.
up with
Right.
the decision. And it's not necessarily what's best for anybody. It's just what they decided to make the judgment
Right.
in
I
that
get
moment.
it. So if you don't go through a mediator, talking about the financial impact of a divorce, talk to me about what happens when lawyers run the show. How does that affect your pocket as opposed to when you go through a mediator?
So you have to figure, at least in Toronto, you are spending somewhere between, in general, $400 and $500 an hour each on your lawyer. So now that is speaking to the lawyer, emailing the lawyer, talking to the lawyer on the phone, the lawyer getting your history and the information they need to know, the lawyer preparing your documents. You then are sort of fixing up the documents to make sure they're accurate, sending them back to the lawyer who's redoing them. They've got their associates helping them. And that's just
Right.
outside of court. When you end up in court, like if you're on a motion or a conference or something, you may not necessarily have a specific time. You might have to show up at 10 o'clock and then just wait till you're heard. So you're now paying that lawyer to sit and wait until you get heard and then speak in court. And that's not even the trial. So there are a number of appearances you'll have in court until you actually get to a trial. The trial itself, you can count on spending $10,000 per day that your lawyer is attending court on your behalf in trial. The preparation,
Wow.
the speaking, it's unbelievable. It's astronomical what you would spend in court. Now, if you compare that to mediation, a mediator's hourly rate is typically much less than that of a lawyer. You're sharing the cost between the two of you, as opposed to the lawyers where you're each
Right.
paying $400 or
Right.
$500 an hour. You're cutting this cost in half. And you have to remember the incentive for the mediator is to have you resolve as soon as possible, because that's the mediator's
Yeah.
reputation, right? That's their bread and butter. So if I don't do a good job for you, you're not going to recommend me to your friend that's also unfortunate enough to go
True.
through it. So, the incentive of the mediator is a good one. And I think, it's a special kind of person that wants to be a mediator because they really want to
Right.
help people.
Right.
Why else would they be doing
Well, that's
it,
what I
right?
wanted to touch on as well. You having gone through it, and clearly you have taken this on as, for lack of better words, your life's purpose. I mean, I don't know if that's your life's purpose, but it's something that you've chosen to take on to help other people. So why did you choose that road? Because I'm sure there's other mediators out there, but what touched you in your heart, that made you want to be the one to help fix people, fix the situation?
Well, I think for me, in my own experience, you feel so overwhelmed. You don't know where to start. You don't know who to talk to. You feel isolated. You don't know what to do, where to go next. And I found for me, I wasn't really getting the information I needed, and I didn't really know what the questions were that I should be asking, because it's
Yeah.
all new. You know, when you go through it for the first time, you don't know. And having been through it, and you know, I've learned what a learning curve that has been, right? I've learned a ton in the system, and I wanted to be able to help other people not go through
Right.
it the way I did, because, and that's a big part of my practice, is I'll sit you down and I'll explain to you, this is how it works. Like before you start anything, you don't even have to sign up with me, right? I'll have a consultation with you. This is just how the system works. These are sort of your options. Here are some strategies you might want to think about. And at the end of the day, like, you want to really step back and out of the emotion that you're feeling and really think about where you want to end up. What is the
Ah,
roadmap to what you want to be doing here, right? And that's also why part of my practice is divorce coaching. It's not about coaching you into a divorce. It's, you've already made
yeah,
the
yeah.
decision that, you know, unfortunately it has to end. And speaking with you again about that roadmap, you know, where do you want to end up and what are the steps we need to take? What are the professionals you might need to help you? It's not just about
Right.
the legals, but it could be you need a psychologist or a psychotherapist or some
Sure.
kind of therapist, and I can help you get those right professionals. You know, I team up with a number of these types of professionals for that reason, so that my clients kind of have a one-stop shop, right? Like, you come to me and I'll help you through it. And if I'm your coach, I can't mediate you and be your coach. I can
Right.
be one or the other. Obviously, there's a
Yep.
conflict of interest. But as the coach, I'm holding your hand through the whole thing. And you're getting the emotion out with me. You can tell me whatever you want. You don't want to use your lawyer as your therapist, because that's not what
Right.
they're there for. And you're paying them $400 to $500 an
Yeah.
hour to listen to you, right? And if you're just talking about he said, she said, or I'm mad because of this, that's not getting you forward in the actual
Right.
paperwork and, you know,
Right.
through the divorce. So use your divorce coach to help you through that part. Use your family, your friends, whoever. Talk to somebody and get it out of your system, so that when it comes time to actually discussing the divorce, you're talking about, you know, the
Right.
facts and the figures, and you're not talking
Right.
about the
I'm sure
emotion.
people need that support because it's got to be such an isolating time for some people, right? So yeah, surround yourself with good
It's
people.
huge.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I what I did hear you ask when I couldn't connect was about the chartered
Yes,
accountant
yes, yes.
background.
How does that
And
marry well?
and
I
so
like
I,
this one.
yes, right? I always think that's a funny
I
sentence
know.
to say,
As
but
I was saying it,
I mean, it's,
marrying well. Okay, but share with me.
but so obviously as a chartered accountant, I have a huge financial background. And, you know, in my own personal situation, I would fill out the financial documents myself. I mean, shame on me if I couldn't do that. And to help my clients, same thing, right? I can do both your parenting plan and your custody and decision-making issues, but I can also do your financials, and I can walk you through what the different options are and what the impact would be. You know, what does that mean for your
Right.
tax situation? What's your tax bracket? What
Hmm.
does that mean? And, you know, if one of you has a pension, what does that mean? How does that resolve? What happens with your RRSPs? What happens with your RESPs? Having somebody with a financial background that can understand that and then make sense of it for you in plain language is really helpful,
Plain
right? And,
language. I like that
not,
plain language because
yeah,
sometimes like you get hit with all these terminologies that you don't even understand. But when you can have someone
yeah.
coaching you through the process that gives it to you in plain language, I think that's huge.
And that's what I do. So we call it a memorandum of understanding, which is basically a summary of what you've agreed on in the
Right.
mediation. So when I write that up, I do it in a combination of, here are the terms the lawyers like to see when you're going to finalize it into a legal document, but here's what it's translated to, right? Like, so, because if you have to follow it, you have to understand what it
Right.
means. So it does no good to have only legal language there that you
Right.
can't make out,
Right.
right? So I write sort of both, so that everybody's happy, and, you know, the divorcing couple can understand what they're agreeing to, and then the lawyer is also happy that it's got the language they need to turn it into a formal court
Got it.
order.
Got it. Um, so you were faced with your own personal situation, and you have now turned this into your business, which I think is awesome because it's personal. When something touches you, I think that you can
Hmm.
speak on it from a place of true understanding. And I'm not going to
Yes.
stick it to any other mediator out there. But I got to tell you, if I want to get information about something, I want to learn from someone who's been there. Does that make sense? Do you get that feedback? Do you get that
Absolutely.
feedback?
I do. In fact, just recently I had an email come through from a client who said, "Thank you, you gave me hope. I didn't have that before." And that was like so heartwarming for me because that's the
Yep.
reason I'm doing this, because I know how it feels. I know how overwhelming it is. I know how lost you are. And that's why I want to be able to provide you with the information so that you can make better decisions than you might have made if you didn't have
Right.
that information. Or I can point you to the right resources so that you're not lost, right? And again, like when we talked about the parenting plans, I know what it feels like. So let's come up with a solution that you can both live with. No one's ever going to be fully happy. It's a divorce. It's difficult. It's difficult for everybody, for the parents, for the children, for the families, for the friends. It's
Right.
difficult for everyone. But why don't we work together in a positive atmosphere and come up with a solution that works for everyone, that'll make you be able to live with what that
Yes.
solution is.
Right. Because ultimately, at the end, we just want to be happy and be the best people that we can be after the situation. And while we were trying to get you back on the line, I was jabbering on to myself, just trying to keep things moving. But I had heard a quote one time, and it's always resonated with me. And just let me know what you think about this, and if you ever hear this or your thoughts. I heard that children, and I'm always speaking about children because I've got 3 of them at home here, and that's, like I said, it's at the top of my list of my priorities. So I heard that children would rather be from a broken home than in one. And when I say broken home, I mean that environment of toxicity. What do you think about? Because if I'm together with someone and there's constant battling, I don't think I'm allowed to be the best parent that I can be, and my significant other isn't able to be the best that they can be, and ultimately that affects the kids. So share with me your thoughts on being better apart than together.
Absolutely. I mean, certainly I would never make that decision for somebody. You need to come up with the decision for your own family. But, from my own experience, sometimes we're in it and it's hard to see really what's going on and what the impact is to the children. And that constant tension and the constant fighting is
Right.
not good for them. It
Right.
really isn't. And you will see that as they grow up. You will see the impact of all kinds of, emotional turmoil. It comes out in different ways, and it's really hard and it's
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate. And with divorce, it doesn't mean that, it's all roses when you get divorced. But if you think about it, you're in separate houses now. You're not fighting
Right.
daily. The children are not witnessing all of that tension
Right.
every single day. And again, and with mediation, when you can be positive with each other, not only are they not exposed to all this negativity on a daily basis, but when you're reasonably happy with each other because you came up with an agreement, it means you're now respecting each
Yes.
other. So what's happening is the children are seeing their 2 parents respecting each other, maybe even more so than when you were in the marriage because you don't have this
Right.
daily
Right.
tension anymore, right? And because you've gone through it in a positive way as opposed to court, you're able to work together for the best interest of the children to make sure they're happy
Right.
and they're thriving. And I'm telling you, certainly for my own children, I have seen that they are miles ahead. Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
make it easy. Like nobody wants this, right? But looking back, that was one of my big fears. Oh my gosh, I'm going to screw up my children by
Right.
divorcing. I
Right.
can't do this. And then on the other side, going, wow, I'm so glad that's what we did because we
Mm-hmm.
needed to. It just
Mm-hmm.
wasn't
Mm-hmm.
working, right? And you see the giggles that we have now are so much better. The quality time we have now, even though I don't see them every
Yep.
single day, the quality time I have with my children now in separate houses is so
Right.
much better.
The quality. The quality. I get it. So even though
Hmm.
the quantity
Hmm.
may have been more in the past, if the quality isn't there,
Hmm.
right? Yeah, I like it. I like it.
That's right.
And and we're
Yeah,
examples for our children too, right? So when we're in
that's
that
right.
conflict, what are we teaching them about relationship, right?
Absolutely.
And yeah,
Absolutely.
wow.
And when, like I teach them now, sometimes the hardest decisions, or like the right decisions can be the hardest decisions. And just because it might be hard and you don't want to do it, but you know in your heart it's the right decision, sometimes that's what you need to do, right? And it's using your strength. You'll get through it. It's not going to be easy, but you'll get there. And that's with anything in life, right? Life is hard. It just is. But it builds resilience. And if your children can see you go through this in a positive way, as positively as you can, and in a respectful way with the other parent, what are you teaching them? You're teaching them some great stuff. Even in their work lives, when they get older, they're going to be people they don't like or they don't get along with. You're teaching them how to deal with people they don't like in a positive way, right? You're teaching them to make lemonade out of lemons, right?
I like it. Lemonade out of lemons. So true. So true. So, Neelam, while we were in the process of trying to get you back on, I was letting the viewers know you were going to share all of your information in comments. Please, website, how to get a hold of you, all that good stuff, because the whole idea here is to reach out. Sharing is caring. We're asking people to share this with as many people as you can, because there's folks out there who are, dipping their toe in this, and eventually they're going to be jumping right in. And when it hits the fan, they may not, right? If you don't know what your resources are out there, you may just go straight to the traditional route and be out of pocket with a convoluted mind that is not in the right place. And so please share your info, because folks do need to get a hold of you. Definitely.
Thank you. So I'll just say it, and then I'll type it in the comments. So my company is Simple Solutions Mediation Limited. Phone number is 416-721-9575. Website is simplesolutionsmediation.ca. And you really touched on an important part. It is about finding the resources. Do your research, right? Google there's so much out there now that wasn't available years ago. There's a ton of resources, again, from mediators and lawyers and psychotherapists and counselors and social workers. There's so much out there. And, if you're in the unfortunate circumstance where there's domestic violence, there's the Barbara Schleifer Clinic. There's all kinds of resources out there. There's free legal advice. There's other avenues for legal advice that are really affordable, which if you call me, I can certainly help you with as well. There's a lot out there, and I just want people to know that and not feel like they're doing this alone, because they don't need to do this alone, right? And if you do your research, you read up on the professionals that you're thinking about dealing with, if there's somebody that they can give a referral on that particular professional, then you'll know better how they feel about those people. Maybe there's reviews elsewhere. Maybe they have testimonials on their website. Don't just go with the first professional. Speak to them. Make sure that there's a fit, and it's with anything, right? Make sure there's a fit for you and your family, because you want to make sure you get the best out of that professional, and you want to make sure there's buy-in from you and your partner with that professional.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, listen, I thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know it's been kind of a rocky road getting you on here and getting all the information out, and we probably still haven't got all the information out. So I look forward to, in the future, having you on again. And I think that we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg with some of the info that you can share with us. So again, thank you so much for coming on Mind Body Bank Account. Please post the info below. Folks, contact Neelam, right? You know someone out there who needs her services. And if you don't, you know someone who knows someone. So share the info, share the video. Sharing is caring. Neelam, I'm going to let you get on with your busy evening. Go out there and help some people, and we'll be in touch, okay? I thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks so much, Mike. Thanks so much, Mike.
All right,
it's been
we'll
a pleasure.
see you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Wow, guys. Hey, I know that was a little shaky trying to get Neelam on the show, but boy, she sounds like her heart is in the place where you want it to be when you are dealing with a situation so sticky as divorce, right? Because I don't know, I hear more negative stories about divorce than I do positive, with one spouse trying to screw the other over, and in the end, it's kids that get hurt, it's families that develop animosity between one another, and that's just not the way that we want to live our lives, right? It's all about positivity. It's all about growing. It's all about pushing people up. So if you can't get along together, get along apart, and use Neelam to help you get there. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to Mind Body Bank Account. We are the podcast that gives you the tools you need so that you can live the life that you desire. And check us out. You're going to be able to get us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and Google Play very, very soon. They'll be uploaded, and you will be able to get us all there. As well, keeping in mind with the sharing is caring. Share the video. I would love to extend to you free tickets. Free. Does it matter? Free tickets to an event that's happening in Vaughan, Ontario on Tuesday, January the 30th, and that is the Business Wealth Summit. Save the date on your schedule. Business Wealth Summit, Tuesday, January the 30th. It's an all-day event. As a matter of fact, they have opened up the day for those folks that work during the day. There's a special event in the evening, 7:30 to 9:30, I believe, or 7 to 9. Gordon, please post it when you see the video, where you can meet with a gentleman by the name of Byron Nelson. And if you don't know Byron Nelson, you better get to know him. The daily event, chock full of speakers and coaches that will help you push your personal, business, and financial life to the next level. So share the video. Check me out on Facebook. You can get the link right there from my Facebook. But I will also be posting it on this video. And PM me, message me if you like. Facebook, Mike Kett, Mind Body Bank Account. Keep your mind open, keep your body strong, and keep your bank account growing. Take care, everybody.